What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of How the Hell Did That Get Rejected? I'm just kidding. Sometimes I'm sure you guys have probably submitted photos to Jetphotos and you're like, man, I thought that would for sure get approved. I had one today that I thought for sure was going to get approved and it got rejected. But I got one accepted on the other hand, so I guess it worked out, and I still have one that looks like it's just about ready to be at the top of the queue. Anyways, I'm just going to run through and talk about two different things. I'm going to edit a photo while I do it. Somebody asked me about heat distortion. They got a rejection because of heat distortion, and I guess we can just kind of show and explain it. There's actually a pretty good example here. I was out this morning in Manchester and I took some shots. Got some pretty decent shots. None of these are really first registrations. They're just already on Jetphotos, but this one for a fact was the legacy. I was waiting for this one to come by for a while. But we'll just jump into here and kind of see what heat distortion means. So, running through these real quick. There's a difference between heat distortion and engine heat blur. So engine heat blur is what you see back here behind the engine, but heat distortion is like this stuff over here. I've seen photos that get accepted for it. It's not very often, but I also see a lot of photos get rejected for it as well. So make sure, if it's after 10 o'clock and you're looking at sun right above you and you're in a hot location, for example anywhere in the south, you're going to see these heat waves rippling off the runway or off the ground. Anytime you get something like that, it's going to distort your photo. It's just not going to look good. The aircraft might look fine, but the background is going to be just all kind of messed up, and it will get rejected. This one, see, I like some of these shots, but it's like I said, once again, there's this weird little kind of heat blur coming from the ground. I'm not a fan of. Anyways, we're just going to roll through some of these. I know for a fact I want to edit this one right here, the FedEx, or the Wiggins, the FedEx cargo feeder. This one looks pretty good. I don't have this one. It's already on Jetphotos, but I do have another FedEx feeder that's up there, so we'll just run through it again. Always remember, we're jumping to 3x2 or 4x3, whatever you choose. We're just going to bring the aircraft down a little bit. Just a little bit more. That looks good. Now we're going to check the horizon. And looking for objects on the horizon. That looks pretty... Let's see if I can rotate it a little bit here. That actually doesn't look too bad right about there. Now, some of the points that I'm using for the horizon, I'm just kind of like eyeballing it right now. But right here, this telephone pole, there's a light fixture over here that I'm using as well. So, actually no, it's right here, right above the aircraft. So this one right here, when I hit the horizon, you'll see it kind of like it lines up perfectly. Same thing with the telephone pole. I might rotate it just a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. We'll just leave it at that. Alright, so it's by 3x2. Looks like we have enough space on both sides, and we will go to the auto feature. That's extremely bright. Might dumb down the highlights just a little bit. There we go. I honestly don't have to change too much the contrast or exposure. It looks pretty good. So we're going to jump down here. Make sure we click on both of the optics. We'll find our lens. This one was the Tamron. I took a couple today with a couple different lenses, so I'm just going to double check, make sure everything else looks pretty decent. It looks good to me. Just increase the sharpening a little bit. Boom. Is this guy looking at me? Nah, he wasn't even paying attention. That's alright. Noise reduction, we'll kind of kick out some of the noise reduction on this one. And overall, I'm going to double check another photo, the same aircraft but a different photo. Let's see. We might edit 2 of these just for fun, because I want to make sure, excuse me, that I have the right, that I select the right photo. It's actually not too bad. The world on time is a little blurry, it seems. This one looks a lot sharper. Let's do the same thing with this one. 3x2. Bring that down. There we go. Slide her over. And a little bit more. Alright. Horizon. Where are we looking for the horizon today? Right about there. Now this one's a little bit different. I'm using this, I don't know, part of the building right there for the horizon. Actually right about there. So I use that part of the building for the horizon, and then for like the vertical I'm using these telephone, I guess they're telephone poles, not too sure, cell phone towers in the background. They look pretty good as well. That looks good. Let's just double check we have enough space on this side and that side. We'll go to auto. Yeah, see, it's so bright. The whites are just too bright. There we go. We can bring the exposure down just a tad. I think I like this one a little bit better. Yeah, we'll run with this one. That's what we'll do. And change the lens. Tamron, that looks good. Yeah, that's much sharper, I think. Oh, that's the Hawker. I wasn't supposed to show that yet. My computer just freeze? No. Oh, there we go. Oh, I know why, because my Lightroom is updating. We'll rock with this one. I like this one. Anyways, hope you guys are getting some good acceptance ratios out there. Hopefully the videos are helping. I'm going to talk about hot photos too. That's another one people ask me about all the time. I actually put up a questionnaire on the forums of Jetphotos to kind of figure out kind of like what deems a hot photo. Like, what is a hot photo? It might look good, but it sure ain't hot. So we'll run through that in a second. I think this is almost all set. Just rotate it this way just a tad. There we go. And then just check the horizon one more time. Right about there. That looks good. Okay. So sharpening will increase just a little bit. We don't need a lot of sharpening on this one. Noise reduction, I don't think there's a ton of it, but we'll rock that. Alright, and I think exposure looks good. We're just, yeah, I think that's pretty good. This guy's actually looking at, no, he's not looking at me again. Alright, so this one is all set, and we're gonna export this one, a watermark 1080, boom, 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 that looks good. And there we go. Alright, so that one's exported. Now let's talk about a hot photo. What does a hot photo actually mean? So, for instance, a hot photo is mainly an aircraft that's not on Jetphotos yet. So if there's a registration, that's why I always say go after general aviation aircraft. If there's a registration for that's not on Jetphotos, once you click on the aircraft, you'll see either a default drawing of the aircraft or nothing at all. Always check the registration first, make sure it's not on there. If it is on there, make sure that it's not an old registration. If it's an old registration of the aircraft, for example, there's an aircraft in Nashua that's old registration comes back to like an old Pan Am 7.4. Of course, the registration doesn't exist anymore for that, so they moved it to the general aviation aircraft. So when you put it in there, if you put it in there, like normally, it won't jump to the front of the line. You have to put it under hot photo and explain that, hey, this is the registration, but it's not, the old registration is gone. It's in the junkyard somewhere. So make sure you let them know ahead of time. You can always put that in the hot photo comments. But other than that, if there's say a Southwest, like it's a new sticker on its nose, it's the same registration, but it's a brand new sticker. No one's got a picture of this aircraft with the sticker on the nose, or a saying, or any kind of thing like that. It has to be different, though. It has to be different. It has to be something that's not, it's not in any of the other photos. So make sure you check that. I'll try to keep this video under 20 minutes, but we'll just jump and kind of do this. I waited pretty much all morning for this Hawker 800, and it finally decided to take off, but unfortunately that one's also already on Jetphotos. There's actually 4 of them, so that's okay though. We'll just edit this one as well. Gotta figure out which one I like the best. It's a really good shot. Alright, we'll just look at this one real fast, then we'll go to 3x2. I have to add some more to my queue, that's a fact. A little bit more. This one's going to be scrunched down a lot. Right about there. That looks good. Space on both sides. That looks good. Alright, I just want to see what it does with auto. I knew that was going to happen, so we're going to actually delete that. Undo, and we're going to just kind of raise the exposure. Alright, let's go to optics. That's fine. Tamron, where are you? There you are. Boom. I mean, honestly, this photo is almost spot on. The contrast we can change to about 7. Everything looks visible, everything's nice and clear. This one got the rotating beacon light was on when I took the shot, so that was pretty cool. There is some noise, I can see it, so let's just get rid of that. I think that's noise. Yep, there it is. There we go. Much better. So we zoom in, you can kind of still see it. If you put too much noise reduction, it'll make the photo soft too, so you have to be careful with that. Change the sharpening a little bit. Pretty cool, man. I actually like this photo. This is pretty cool. We'll just jump to another one real fast. Let's just get to this one. This one looks cool. 3x2 again. Drop her down. These are tough to kind of like manage when they're in the air like this, because you're looking at like how is it centered, like where's the aircraft center, and honestly it's just kind of like a shot in the dark, really. I have had success and no success, so oh yeah, that's much better. That's actually a pretty cool shot too. I like that one better. If you guys have any more questions, just leave them in the comment section. In the comment section below, I'll make sure to get to them as best I can. This one we're gonna have to move over just a little bit. There we go. That looks pretty centered to me. That looks good overall. We can increase the sharpening a little bit. Noise reduction. We'll kind of just get rid of some of the noise. I don't think there's a ton of it. There's a little bit. There we go. Alright, well, this one looks pretty good too. I think we'll just leave it at that. Looks fine. About there. But anyways, so that's pretty much about it. I didn't have a lot today, but I wanted to, like say, go over what's a hot photo, what's not a hot photo, heat distortion off the engine, like the engine heat blur versus heat distortion. Heat distortion is bad if you get those ripples of waves of heat that come off the runway and you kind of see like this green. I saw a post on Instagram today. Oh my gosh, it's just everything. I don't want to bad talk anyone. That's not what I'm doing. But when people post pictures, I wonder. I'm like, why? And I do this to myself. I post an image on Instagram, and I'm like, why did I post that? It's so stupid. They look at it afterwards, and I think Instagram just, if you're not compressing them correctly, Instagram will distort the image. And I want to say that was this, in this case, that was it. but I don't think so. I think the settings are off on this person's camera, and everything just looks so distorted. It's just like, oh man, either way, it's like cringeworthy. I mean, we don't all take amazing photos. I take horrible photos every day. I think it's a requirement for me every day to take a bad photo, at least 10 or 12. Now let's see if this one I just noticed. That one also got rejected. Wonder why. I just had a photo that was rejected in Jetphotos, and I want to see why it got rejected. I thought it was actually a pretty good photo. That's funny because I don't even see it in my list of rejected photos. Huh. I can refresh it. Wow, that's weird. Let me double check on my phone, because sometimes Jetphotos just does this weird thing where it doesn't. It's very odd. It says I have 44 on here now, but I don't see the photo. Maybe it's just an update. I'm not too sure. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling right now. I'm sorry about that. I'm just running through it. Thanks to the aviation weekend put on by the National Flight Simulator School, I was able to get some really good photos up on Jetphotos, and they were first time registrations. That was really cool. That one definitely got approved. It's just not popping up for some reason. I don't know what happened. But anyways, like I said, yeah, we talked about heat blur and from the engine and heat distortion, two different things. Don't submit a photo as a hot photo unless you know for a fact it's a hot photo. I gave you kind of like the basics of what a hot photo is. You can always check the forums, and there's also look at the guidelines. They'll specifically tell you what it is. I had a question recently about control tower. If there's a control tower that wasn't, for example, wasn't in Jetphotos like the old control tower was, but the new one isn't. So, anyways, that's not a hot photo. It's just mostly aircraft based. But like I said, if you guys have any more questions in regards to Jetphotos or settings or anything like that, just let me know. I did some long exposure the other day. I put it on my Instagram, but I will show you what I'm talking about here. Is that a bad one? Let me double check. This one's one of my favorites. This is a long exposure of the Manchester airport. This is I think it's a Cessna Citation on final into Manchester, and this one just actually came out pretty good in general. I submitted this one to Jetphotos too. We'll see if it gets accepted. This is cool because there's the control tower. It's on final into runway 6. I didn't get it fully on the final, but I thought that was a pretty good start. And then this little streak in the back, that's actually an American Airlines CRJ that's also turning to make its final approach into Manchester. So I thought that was a pretty cool photo. This is my first time with long exposure, so I don't have a lot of practice. But anyways, that's pretty much it for today, guys. Like, I haven't posted a lot of videos, and I'm sorry. Editing seems to be just kind of bland and straightforward all the time. But like I said, if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. You can shoot a message over to me on Instagram. If you have an idea for other videos. I know someone wanted to do slide, like how to do a slide presentation on Instagram. That's more so like a mobile app thing. I know you can do it on Lightroom and Photoshop, but I normally don't, just because I don't have the ability to AirDrop. I have a Windows PC and then I have an iPhone, so they don't really work too well together. But anyways, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you liked it, and I will see you on the next time.